Why, hello there. Hello, and welcome to a stream. Give me 1 second here. I am getting stuff pulled up. You can see Fred is here to say hello as well. Hello, everybody. Let me go ahead and fix a few things here. I need to ping the Discord. Yes, Fred, I love you. I love you. I love you, Fred. I love you, Fred. Yes. Good boy. Oh, what are you doing? What are you doing that for? Hmm? What you doing that for, Fred? You in a playful mood? You want to play? Is that what it is? Oh, his food comes out in 30 minutes. That's probably what it is. That's probably what's going on. Fred, can you get off my chair? Thank you. Hello, Lauren. Hello. Okay, let me grab my link tree and then distribute that through the various channels as we get going here. Uh, bu- 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 So I was gone throughout the weekend. I had an event, and last week I was trying to buckle down and get done some things, some stuff, and some things, and it was sort of successful. I tried to go like I have student loans, and the Save Act ended, so like you know, gotta go select new payment plans for student loans. And I tried to do that, and the website like literally would not function. Like literally every time I went to apply for a new payment plan, it just instantly was like, "Oh god, oh no." And then it just wouldn't work. And I don't understand what the heck is going on with that, but I'm very frustrated. Very frustrated. I'm also like so low income that honestly I don't even know what I'm gonna do about the student loans. It's kind of a bad situation for me. I make so little money, I can't really afford to pay much into them, if anything at all. But if I pay nothing into them, of course the interest is just gonna keep building and building and building and building and building. And if I don't, like if I don't pay much on them, then by the end of the I think it was like by the end of 2027, they'd be like I don't even remember. But the point is that it over the course of time would balloon with inflate or with interest. And I don't even guys, I don't even know what the hell I'm gonna do about that. Like I am I don't know. It's defeating. It's a little bit defeating. Like I really am I want to, keep doing this, and like I make like okay-ish money. Like I not this is not profitable for me. I want it to be. And I'm getting closer-ish, but this is definitely a big hit to the possibility of profitability. And yeah, I don't know, it's quite frustrating. Biden nuked your student loans, you got scammed. Oh, well, I'm happy for you. Like the Save Act put my loans into forbearance, and then Trump killed the Save Act. So now I have to pay back my loans. Like I have to. And yeah, it's just it's I don't know. It kind of sucks. Um Kind of sucks, but it is what it is. Just try to deal with it. Try to push forward. Um, Hopefully, the channel grows and I'm able to do something there. I'm also working on getting some other revenue streams going. Like I'm gonna start doing some professional photography for the flow arts community and fire performers, like try to get some fire photography going. And then I've also been thinking about oh shit, what was the other thing? Oh my god, why can't I remember what else I was gonna do for money? Oh my gosh, why can't I remember? My brain. I'm thinking. I'm thinking. So I'm gonna start doing gigs. Duh. I'm gonna get my flame effects license, and I'm gonna start doing fire performance gigs, like street fairs or like literally anything that'll pay me anything. I will do. But yeah, like between YouTube, hopefully some photography stuff, and hopefully being a performer. I'll be able to make my way through this like sort of self-employed journey that I'm on. But yeah, I don't know, y'all. It's really frustrating. When I looked up my information about my student loans, it's like pretty much all I can afford to do is pay down the interest, which is like really crappy. I wanna gosh, gorsh. Your army recruiter lied to you saying they would wipe my student loans back in 2011. Yeah, that really sucks. I feel like a lot of us, like, I'm a millennial, right? And as a millennial, the lie that I was told is that like if you get your student loans, you don't have to worry about it because if you go to college, you're going to do great. You're going to do amazing. Everything's going to be amazing. And that is not at all what happened. That is not at all what happened. And so it would be, you know, it'd be a whole thing. But yeah, a lot of us just got screwed. I hate the term millennial. Why? It's just the name of the generation that I'm a part of. I don't like what I, it's just it's like calling boomers boomers. They're the baby boomers, and Gen Xers are Gen X. I don't know what. Oh, hey there, Sarah. Also, let me shout out a few people. So Lauren, hello. Mackenzie, hello. Vigorous, hello. Mad Hatter, hello. And Asura, hello. So the United States is nothing but a giant scam. I agree. And also Sophie, hello. Trump ruins everything. Everything is worse now than it was in 2024. I would agree. I would agree. Like I think that the Save Act was like not the current Save Act that Trump wants. I'm talking about the one that was passed for the student loans. Like Biden's thing. I thought that was a good idea. You were born in the 90s. What are you? You're probably a millennial. You're probably it looks like 91. Is that what 91 means at the end of your username? Cuz then yeah, like if you were born in 91, you're a millennial. I was born in 93. I'm a millennial. I can't remember what the cutoff is. I think the cutoff for being a millennial is like let me see. Cutoff for millennials. So 1996 is the cutoff for being a millennial. So if you were born between 1981 and 1996, um, that is, yeah, 97 onwards is Gen Z. Yeah, yeah. Also, welcome Skate Penguin, and awesome. Hello, you're awesome as an elder Zoomer. Nice. Cool. Yeah. Well, I'm happy to be a millennial. I like being a millennial. Like honestly, I grew up without technology. Like I mean, obviously with technology, but like when I was really little, we didn't really have like a lot of internet and a lot of like social media and a lot of stuff. Like it was pretty low tech. And then I watched the technology boom happen. And oh, Rusty, also hello and thank you for liking the stream. If everyone else can go ahead and do that as well, that would help me get the stream going here. That would be super amazing. I would appreciate that a bunch. So thank you for that. But yeah, like I definitely feel like my lived experience is pretty unique. Like I was quite young when the technology boom happened. I was in high school and stuff, when like smartphones and everything really started going wild. But at the same time, growing up and having a childhood that was like my childhood, like we would just go outside and like play like outside, and like ride bikes and hang out at the park and stuff like that. Like, back in the day when I was a kid, we would like you would like leave your house and hop on your bike and ride to your friend's house and just show up randomly and be like, yo, so and so's parent is Billy home or whatever. And then they would just like be like, yeah, and then they would go get him and you would be like, yo, let's go do stuff. And then you would go do stuff, and it was cool, honestly. Like I am a little bit nostalgic about those times because I feel like technology has made some things better, like communications and awareness. A lot of things are better, but I do think that it's there are a lot of aspects of the human experience that are different now. And kids just don't play outside as much as they used to, and they don't, like they got to text their friend to make sure that they want to hang out before just riding your bike over there. And I don't know. It's good and bad. Good and bad. Like I'm a little nostalgic for it. um I think that it was simpler times back then, definitely simpler times. And I don't know. Like I kind of like that vibe. Kind of like that vibe. Vibe. Vivi, hello. How's it going? It's going well. I just want the TGIF lineup back at minimum. I don't know what that is. Uh You remember your father playing Doom? Classic. You're describing normalcy. I feel like I'm on a different planet now. Yeah, I feel that. I miss those days. Yeah, I miss those days. Personally, I stopped going outside after a while due to it getting too hot for me over the years, and of course, video games. Yeah, no, I feel it. I mean, I was one of those kids where I played outside a lot, and then video games happened, and the internet happened, and everything happened, and I just stopped doing that. Like, I definitely was one of those kids that turned into a little bit of a shut in. Um, Good and bad, like, I probably shouldn't have played RuneScape as much as I did when I was younger. I played, like, a bunch of RuneScape and a bunch of other games that are, like, looking back on it, like, probably not a great use of my time, but I don't know, like, all of the video games and stuff back in the day, it was really exciting. It felt like you were on the edge of something new and exciting, and it was, you know yeah, yeah. So anyway, I don't know why we were talking about that really, but being a millennial and stuff, yeah. Like a lot of kids who are, I guess some Zoomers, like older Zoomers, probably remember those days as well. But yeah, definitely a lot of the kids in the alpha group have no idea what that's like. Also, not to mention all your neighborhood friends moving away at that point. Yeah, yeah. I played a ridiculous amount of Flash games for some reason. Yeah, I also did that as well, Clover. I did that as well. Like I definitely remember playing a bunch of like really shitty Flash games, and it's like looking back on it, like was that a really good use of my time? No, no, it wasn't. But I was a kid, and it's just what it was or whatever. But I do remember fondly, like, riding bikes around with people in the neighborhood and, just going to a park and hanging out for a while or whatever. I have good memories of that kinda stuff for sure. Playing Super NES emulators instead of learning anything in high school. That's funny. Okay. Uh, yeah, we were talking about, like, student loans and stuff, but we don't gotta keep talking about that. Honestly, it's kinda stressing me out, so probably best not to talk about that. I hope everyone had a good week last week. I know that I'm taking time off during the summer. You just have to keep in mind that, like, if I were working a normal job, I would get, like, at least 5 or 6 weeks of vacation time a year, hopefully. Not really, probably, but, like, that's the hope, right? And so, like, I kind of think to myself, like, I deserve at least 5 or 6 weeks off, every year for, like, you know, doing stuff. Um, Also, Acacia, hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. Happy to see you. Um, but yeah, I'm trying not to feel guilty for taking time off for events, but at the same time, like, I can't help but feel a little guilty. I know that, like, with YouTube, there's kind of an element of building momentum and stuff like that, and when you take, like, even a little bit of time off, it sort of does something to that where it kinda hinders you just a little bit. And, it's fine. It's fine. I'll work through it. It's worth having some time to chill and stuff. So, like, I hope no one takes it personally or anything. Oh my gosh, water is so good. I just ate a bunch of dinner. I was gonna wait until after stream to eat because I was already getting started late, right? Like, and always, also apologies for the late stream, but I decided that, like, I should eat something before stream, because every time I wait until after stream to eat, it's like so late by the time I eat. It's just like blah, blah. You're still showing up on my feed. Take your time. Oh, thank you. Oh, take your you time. Even more thank you. I appreciate that. I appreciate the sentiment. I mean, honestly, everyone in my community is pretty chill about it. Has been really nice about it. And so I really appreciate that. I very, very much appreciate that. I noticed someone earlier, we were talking about gosh, we were talking about, oh yeah, yeah. Asura asked me, is massage therapy still an option? Because I was talking about not having enough income to be able to pay back my student loans. Like, if I don't find a way to pay on my student loans, the interest is just going to keep compounding, and it'll get very overwhelming very quickly. And so yeah, like exploring like like different revenue streams that I can try to pick up. Like I was talking about doing photography for flow arts, because that's pretty congruent with a lot of the fire and flow stuff I'm doing. I'm also getting my flame effects license so I can do gigs. Like those will be like basically uh just little bits of extra income. It won't probably pay the bills or anything, but every little bit helps. In terms of massage therapy, it is an option. So the thing with massage therapy is that during COVID, my mom got breast cancer and also needed to get knee replacements. She had to get both knees replaced because she's been a server for like 40 years. So my mom has been on her feet nonstop on the go for like 40 years or whatever. Um, and so during COVID, she had these, health issues come up where she got breast cancer, and then she had to get the knee replacement. So I moved in with her, and I was doing massage therapy, but between helping take care of my mom and between COVID, massage therapy was just not bringing in much money at all. So I ended up leaving massage therapy, and the thing about those licenses is that you have to renew them. Like, you have to do like continued education. You have to like take like a workshop at least every year or two to like maintain a level of education, informed education, and then you have to follow a process to renew your license. I did not do any of that. I unfortunately let it fall by the wayside because of, COVID, and like I said, helping take care of my mom and stuff. Is she feeling any better? Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. I mean, it's been years at this point. I mean, and my mom, like my mom recovers, she bounces back quick. It was amazing to see. She gets bored really quickly, and like, like getting her to like rest enough for her knee replacement was really challenging. But like she had like a double mastectomy, double knee replacement, all within like a couple years. And I mean, she bounced back really quick. It was really kind of inspiring. But what was I talking about? Oh yeah, massage therapy. Yeah, so my license expired, right? And if I want to get my license, my massage therapy license back, I have to retake the medical licensing exam, which is pretty tough. Like, it's like a requirement in Ohio if you want to be a massage therapist. You have to pass the medical licensing exam in Ohio. And it's like the same kind of exam that like RNs take and like other like nurses and stuff take. Like, it's pretty intense. Now, it's like a little more focused on muscles and things like that because it's massage therapy. But it does include basically everything. Like, you need to know the name of the veins and the bones and the nerves and like, all the endocrine system, endocrine system, like all that stuff. You have to do all of that, and it's a lot. It's a lot to learn. Like studying for that exam the first time around was really hard. It was really intense, and uh, yeah, so I'm I'm very much considering doing that. But that would definitely take like like a shit ton of effort. I would have to be studying every day for probably at least 3 to 4 months to like get that license back. Same thing happened with my insurance certs. Yeah. Yeah. It's frustrating. It's really frustrating. Um Hey there, Dadzilla, welcome by the way. And look at the trees, welcome. Oh, word, I'm in Ohio? Yeah, Ohio, like, Ohio is kind of like, politically a horrible place to be, but I've always enjoyed living in Ohio. I know that a lot of people, like, hate Ohio and whatever, they're like it's like a meme or whatever to like shit on Ohio or whatever. But like genuinely, I've had so many good experiences in Ohio. I've met so many good people in Ohio. Like obviously born and raised in Ohio, so there's like an element of like nostalgia and stuff, but like politically it's a horrible state. Uh Socially and like I don't know. I have a soft spot for it. So Jack Drac on Twitch. Hello, welcome. Happy to see you. Someone said, "Hi, I don't understand why trans women and trans girls are banned from playing sports, but they won't ban biological girls and women from playing sports." Actually, you know what's really funny is that they were talking about doing that. There was some information released that the Heritage Foundation, upon successfully banning trans people from sports, they're like, "Cool. Now that we've protected women's sports, it's time to abolish women's sports." Like, I shit you not, the Heritage Foundation released this, I think it was a memo or something, but they basically said that their goal, now that they've banned trans women from sports, their goal is, I shit you not, to ban women's sports because it hurts fertility. Like, like you can't make this shit up. Like you literally can't make this up. It's like it is like a parody of real life. Like it's unbelievable. But yeah, I mean I feel like a lot of people could have seen this coming. Like any kind of visage of them like, "Oh, we care about women's rights. We care about women's sports." Like bullshit. Right-wingers and conservatives have never cared about women's sports. Like before 10 years ago, before Trump entered on the scene, before trans people were like a huge political football, um, conservative people would talk about women's sports in this really misogynistic way. You know what I mean? Like, does anyone remember that? Like the early 2000s, like a lot of people were talking about women's sports, like especially the conservative side were talking about it like it was like this dumb, stupid thing that doesn't even deserve to be like watched. And then all of a sudden, when trans people became a political football, it became politically convenient for them to be like, "Oh, actually, like women, like we care about fairness in women's sports, and we care about women's sports, and we care about all this shit." But no, they don't care about that at all. Like they they just were using that as a wedge issue, and then as soon as they got their foot in the door, they're trying to throw that door open and just get all of their stuff done. We are steamrolling back to the 1700s. Well, like to be fair, I don't think that they're going to be successful in just banning all women's sports. Like you have to understand that like obviously trans people are a small minority. We do not have a lot of systemic power, and so it's very easy for the power dynamics to be forced onto us. Like where people like, create some stupid law against us and we have very few avenues of resistance, and so it's pretty easy to get discrimination legalized against trans people. But then when it comes to something like banning women's sports, like you are gonna have that is a huge hill to climb for them. And so, like honestly, like I don't think they'd be successful in doing it. And I honestly think it would be good for us if they really went for it. Like I kind of am like I know it's what the Heritage Foundation wants, but I'm not quite sure I don't think that we're gonna be seeing conservative politicians like out in the public being like, "Oh, ban women's sports." Like it's going to be more of a background kind of thing that they aspire to. But if they did push for it publicly, it would be good for the left because I mean like way to just rip the mask off. You know what I mean? Like way to just be like, "Oh, it wasn't about trans people in the first place. It was just about, you know, gaining power and getting their foot in the door." Keep in mind the same people whining about trans women in sports also hate women's sports entirely. Yeah, yeah, like the people who are complaining about trans women in sports, most of them do not watch women's sports. Most of them do not care about women's sports. Like they honestly like it like a lot of transphobia is inherently motivated by misogyny. And so a lot of the people that are transphobic are insanely misogynistic. Like one thing I like to tell people is that like if you see how someone treats a trans woman, that is like a mask off version of how they treat women. Like the way people treat trans women is like like it says a lot about how they're gonna treat like women too. You know what I mean? And so like I really think that that's important. Like if you're out dating and you're a cis person and you're dating a man and he says something about like, oh, like trans women are these like blah 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 blah, like a bunch of horrible stuff. They go on some transphobic rant. Like you should get out that door ASAP. Like you should get your free meal and get the fuck out of there because like it's 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 not good. Like it's a huge red flag. It's a huge red flag. Maybe Riley Gaines would get some empathy then. Not gonna hold my breath. Oh, no, like I mean, I think a lot of people I don't know. Like, I don't know what see, this is what I'm saying is that like I don't think that people are going to like I don't think people are going to actively call for the abolishing of women's sports. Like I think it's like a Heritage Foundation goal, right? It's like something they've put into their sort of like overarching political plan, but they're not going to like actively go after it right now. Like maybe later, but I think they understand that it would be politically toxic for now. Um a great example, Lady Ballers, a movie mocking trans women in sports, but also makes fun of the fact that no one attends women's sports within the same film. Like pick a lane. No, like exactly. That's literally what I'm talking about. Is that a lot of these transphobic people are insanely misogynistic. Like they view women in a very poor light, and they view trans women in an even poorer light. But it just goes to show, like, if you have a problem with people transitioning to be a woman, then like you probably have a lot of those people have a problem with it because like the patriarchy or whatever. It's like why would you want to go from living as a man to living as a woman because you're giving up like you're giving up the power dynamic or whatever, and you're moving into a minority that's not only a woman but like a trans woman. Like you're kind of just throwing yourself to the bottom of a hierarchy. But what those people don't understand is that like misogyny obviously hurts everybody, patriarchy obviously hurts everybody, even cis men are hurt by the patriarchy. But like yeah, like it's yeah, yeah. They don't understand trans women at all. My own transition has shown me how much internal misogyny my mom has. Yeah, no, for sure. And like women have it too. Like women are also misogynistic. That's why like, like I think a lot of TERFs are pretty misogynistic. Like if you're a TERF, if you're like unironically saying you're a feminist, and then like you're also at the same time like advocating for like the constricting of the definition of a woman to some kind of like weird biological thing, like that's just like it's unbelievable, right? Like it doesn't make any sense. Like if you're a feminist and you're trying to constrain women to this like tiny little box, like oh you're only a real woman if you have this lived experience or have this biology or have this, then you're not really a feminist. Like you're a misogynist. Like let's see. There's a lot of resentment from some in the men's baseball world. They resent women's professional baseball making a comeback. These women are just as good or better than any man out there playing. Yeah, no, for sure. I would agree. Like I think women's sports are incredible. And like really it's like empowering, and it's awesome to celebrate the power and the resilience of women. Like I think that that's awesome. Like I think it's cool to see women athletes. It's inspiring for sure. But yeah, there's a lot of people that are intimidated by it, or like they're misogynistic, and so they don't want to celebrate the successes of non-traditional women. Like they want women to fit into this very tiny constrained stereotype of what it means to be a woman, and if you step outside of that, it doesn't matter if you're trans or cis, they're gonna resent you, and they're gonna hold it against you, and they're gonna make it your problem. And that's what we're learning. They separated the sports by gender the second they realized women were better. There are like situations in sports where women are better, and there's a lot of sports where like the gender dynamic doesn't even make that much of a difference. Like I think baseball could be a really good example. Like honestly, there's not really much of a good reason to separate women's and men's baseball. Like that doesn't really like, it's not really like a super like strength thing. It's not a powerlifting thing. You don't need to be the strongest, most jacked person in the world. It's more about cardio and more about strategy and more about like, drilling, like how fast can you sprint to that freaking plate or whatever. Like a lot of it doesn't have anything to like people, might view it as a men's sport, but like that doesn't really make any sense. And like really there's no reason for the gender separation there other than the fact of misogyny. Like misogyny is the reason why we have these gendered splits in a lot of sports because like I don't know if you're playing something like darts, right? Like if you're playing darts, what's the point of separating the genders? There is no point. The only point is that a man doesn't want to be beaten by a woman. Like if a guy gets beaten by a woman, he's going to feel like some kind of like failure of a person because he's a misogynist. And like that is like the reason. That is the reason why. So that inherently proves the point like right out the gate that there's like issues with misogyny in the simple fact that like okay, you have like men and women's darts and you have men and women's like what other stuff do they separate that's kind of dumb? Billiards? Like why the hell are we separating billiards by gender? That doesn't make any sense. All baseball is hand-eye coordination. Yeah, like a lot of it is just coordination. Like I think baseball players often need a lot of like cardio. Like they need a lot of like VO2 max stuff. Hey there, Dice Mistress. Welcome. I'm not torn on the issue, but I always have a difficult time going to bat over sports because I think professional sports are trash, especially on the business side. No, I would agree with you. It's like when it comes to sports, especially trans people in sports, I think like I think really it just comes down to the fact that like people deserve like trans people, women, like people in minorities deserve protections. They deserve protections. And what they're doing right now is removing all of that, which is not good. RVD was right. Japanese women's pro wrestling smokes anything going on in the States. What's RVD? What does that mean? I don't know what you mean by RVD. Ugh. Some sexists got mad because pro wrestler Rob Van Dam said he finds the women's pro wrestling matches and the characters more entertaining than the men's nowadays. That I can't believe people got mad about that. This is so ridiculous. On MK9 years ago, I saw guys rage sometimes when they lost to the characters Katana, Jade, Milena, and Sonya. Oh, in Mortal Kombat? Yeah, yeah, people always treat the girls like they suck or something. It's so misogyny is so stupid. Misogyny is so stupid. Kitty is not as aggravating as the current POTUS. True. I love Kitty. I love Freddy. He's a good boy. Yes, he is. He's a good boy. His food just got dispensed and he's all happy about it. The cat on my screen belly. Wait, the cat on my belly loves the cat on the screen. Aw, that's awesome. Also, I love your username, Secular Felinus. That's cute. That's a cute username. Um, Rob Van Dam. I don't. Oh, RV. Okay, RVD. I get it. I agree on the protection, but I also wish sports, especially contact ones, would just go away forever. Well, Riff, I mean, I hate to tell you, but that ain't gonna happen. Like, genuinely, I like competition sports, especially contact sports, have existed for a long time. Like back in the day, it was like the gladiatorial combat and stuff, and all of that, whatever. Like, it's just like they're like when you remove survival as a primary motivating factor from human civilization, like when we aren't spending all day every day looking out for like tigers trying to like rip your face off, when we have that level of comfort, humans seek the extremes in contact sports and other kinds of sports. Like that is where we get that kind of like uh instinct to competition with not the natural world but with like other people. That's where we get that kind of thing, or like the tribalism and stuff too that comes with sports. People get a sort of like it scratches a part of their brain. I don't really like sports. Like I'm not a sports girly. I'm not into it, but I respect people that are into sports. Like I think it's fine. I just think that like obviously a lot of people who are into sports are incredibly misogynistic or sexist or whatever. But I don't think that inherently sports are bad. I heard that they are getting gender affirming care for cis men in the military, but not for trans people. This really sucks for trans people. Well, yeah, it's just a part of the Acacia's leaving. See ya, Acacia. Have a good one. Good seeing you for a minute. Um, well, yeah. I mean, they kicked trans people out of the military anyway. So if you're a trans person in the military, no, you're not. You know what I mean? But like, yeah, Pete Hegseth is doing this thing where they're gonna do testosterone testing for, and like it just really goes to show that like a lot of this technology that was developed for cis people for gender affirming care that is used for trans people is gender affirming care regardless of whether you're cis or trans. And like if they want to ban gender affirming care, they should ban it for like cis and trans people. You know what I mean? Like there's like this hypocritical thing where they're like, "Oh, gender affirming care is this evil woke bullshit," but also I'm going to go like, take testosterone and steroids and work out a bunch and get super jacked and like that is gender affirming care, my guy. Yeah, like yeah. I see some sexist whining too because Claire is getting more focus in the upcoming Resident Evil Code Veronica remake. Yeah, well, people can people can be people can eat it or whatever. Mortal Kombat is a good game. Yeah, I would agree. I like Mortal Kombat. Misogyny is literally baby brain, like, ooh, I don't want girl cooties. Yes. I think the separation of men and women's sport is primarily due to weight class. Well, sure, but like, there are women and men that share like that's not entirely the case, right? Like if you're looking at something like baseball, there's a broad range of like weight and height that is exhibited within like something like baseball. And so like, like if you had wrestling and you were to like kind of like instead of doing it by gender, separate it by weight or whatever, I'm not quite sure that the men would outperform the women all the time just by default. Like I'm not quite sure that would be the case. And that's honestly a thing. Like, yet we've had separation of the genders in sports for so long. We don't even have a lot of like research about this stuff. You know, like we don't have a lot of research on what it's like to bring the genders together and have them compete together because we don't study that stuff very much. There's sort of like a stigma against it. MMA is for Krug brains. Let's see here. Sophie's leaving, but we'll be back. Okay. Thank you for being here. I guess I just don't understand that mentality. I've never been competitive, which is why my music career has gone nowhere. Contact sports annoy me because of the physical and cultural damage. Um, I'm not sure what you mean by cultural damage. That doesn't make sense to me. Obviously, yeah, physical damage is a thing. And I want to be clear, Riffs, I am not I am not a competitive person either. I don't like being competitive. Like I do the flow art stuff and I do the fire performance stuff. And there are some people in that community, in the flow arts community, that are competitive about it. There are some people that are competitive about it. They're like, "Oh, I'm way better at this than you," or whatever. But that has never been me. To me, it's a pursuit, it's a personal pursuit, and you shouldn't be comparing yourself to others. You shouldn't be competing with others. You should be competing with yourself. Um, and so yeah, like I'm not huge on competitive sports, but I'm not gonna sit here and like poo-poo people that are into it or whatever. Like, whatever floats people's boats is not really my my problem. Not entirely a bad thing. I'd hate to die for this regime. I don't know what that was in reference to. I'm sorry. I find oh, you mean the being banned from sports? Yeah, I mean a lot of trans people wouldn't want to be in sports anyway. Like that is definitely a thing that like trans people like I don't want to be in the or not sports. I mean, sorry, the military. I meant to say the military. Trans people banned from the military. I don't want to be in the military anyway. But that it's still like, there's a lot of people who had careers. Like I interviewed someone a long while ago who had a 20-year career who was getting forced out of the military because she's trans but she has like a supremely good service record. You know, she's lauded in the field or whatever. Like, um, but yeah, I find so many people with bigoted views are crashing out or going all out because they realize their views are growing increasingly hated and the window to be their worst selves publicly is closing. Yeah, you know what? That is actually a really, really good point, Mackenzie. I really appreciate you mentioning that. I think a lot of people can kind of recognize this, right? Like Trump, when he got elected, he was all about the, oh, I've got a mandate. Oh, look at my big mandate. I've got this huge cultural mandate. And I'll say for like, you know, after he got elected until pretty much January, there was sort of like an ethos. There was sort of a thing going on in the air that was like, you know, like there was a feeling that like, oh, you know, this conservative thing is about to hit a whole new peak of cultural power or whatever. That did not last even a year. You know what I mean? Like Trump started with this huge mandate, and like how often do you hear people talk about that nowadays? You don't at all. And as someone who travels a lot, I drive all over the place throughout the United States, right? Like I travel throughout different states and like red states and blue states and all these different places. I travel a lot, okay? And when Trump got elected, that election season, there were Trump signs everywhere. Like I remember traveling through festivals and like I mean an unbelievable amount of aw the Green New Deal. Hello, welcome, and thank you for complimenting Fred. He's a good boy. He's a good boy. Yes, he is. He's a good boy. And also Ashlyn, hello, thank you for the subscription. I appreciate that. I did want to say I have a channel banner now. If you go look at my YouTube channel, you'll see a banner up there. And we have Dusty, who is sometimes in the chat, was kind enough to let me commission them for that work. And so I really, really like it. It's a really cool channel banner. I'm very, very happy with it. I don't know if I don't know if I can put that on Twitch. I if I can put it on Twitch as well, I will do that. But also we are working on emotes. So we will have emotes soon. Personal channel emotes. I am excited for that. I hope you are all excited for that too. Okay, what was I saying though? I'm trying to remember. Oh yes. The cultural mandate, right? So when Trump got elected, there were Trump signs everywhere. Now, like this festival season, traveling around, I don't see any Trump signs anymore. Like they are gone. They are gone. And you know what? It's it's not even it's not even like okay, the first time Trump got elected, right? In 2016, um that those Trump signs were up for years, right? They were up like all over the place for years. Like you know, even after he got elected, they were all over the place. But it's kind of like I feel like there's like a level of shame that people are experiencing, and a level of disillusionment that people are feeling towards towards the Trump. So yeah, it's dying. Like the conservative movement is dying, and you know they felt they felt like they were on top of the world, but they are very quickly losing all of that cultural power, and it's being plummeted even lower than they were before. Like I think a lot of those people felt like that cultural power that they had gained from Trump's election was here to stay, but they didn't realize that Trump being such a massive piece of shit was only going to hurt them in the long run, which it is, you know? And I think that that's like there's really something to say about this. Like I know we get into the weeds a lot about like things that are happening legislatively in with the trans community and trans rights and just the like all the bad stuff happening in general right now. We get into the weeds there, right? Yeah, and like I understand that it's frustrating and it's scary and it's depressing and it makes you feel bad, right? But you have to keep in mind, like this is why I think you really have to keep in mind the overarching historical arc of what is happening here. We had an unprecedented cultural progressive push for the past 20 and 30 years. You know, there are maybe not the past 20 or 30 years. Before the past 10 years, we had like a 20 or 30 year progressive push where culture moved forward and got so much better and more accepting and people got kinder and crime went down and like so many things, so many metrics culturally and societally got better and a lot of things were better, right? And then there's been this cultural backlash where a bunch of boomers who were not ready for this kind of like progressive push, they got their panties in a bunch or whatever, and now they are simply reacting. They're reactionary. So this push happens, the progressive push happens, and then they're reactionary, so they react. And what we're witnessing is like a 10-year prolonged death knell basically of like the good old days or whatever. Like there's a reason why Make America Great Again appealed to them because they felt like the America that they knew was somehow slipping through their fingers or whatever. But anyway, the point is that like these people took their masks off and they went full mask off and people realize how horrible that is and most people don't agree with that. Like and so like a lot of people that were disillusioned uh with the establishment kind of latched onto MAGA, but then a lot of those people over the years have realized that this is a hate movement and like it's really lost a lot of the momentum and it's lost a lot of the cultural appeal that it once had. So we could talk about that for a long time. This is a topic that could be expounded upon for a long time, but I just want people to be aware that like this will not last forever and actually like we are still more progressive than we were in previous, eras and like it's probably going to return to pushing towards more progressivism. Like I think that like, the arc of society will continue on a good path as soon as this little like bump in the road like concludes basically. Um I wish I was present for the likely meltdown that happened when everyone found out that Samus was a woman in 1986. Yeah, I bet people freaked out about that. Chess is separated also. That is really dumb that chess is separated. Motorsports should be more inclusive. I don't know much about motorsports, but I would agree. I doubt we'll ever see co-ed boxing or MMA. Even for progressive, it's going to be hard. So yeah, I wasn't saying that we're going to see that. I was just talking about weight classes as an example. I'm not arguing with you. Didn't mean to frame it that way. Just airing that I have a hard time defending sports generally. As for cultural damage, football has ruined generations of male brains. Um, I don't think enough guys play football at that much of a level that they're getting like CTE on a grand scale. Like I think if you looked at like the percentage portion of the population of men who play football and get CTE, it's probably like less than 1% of men get CTE from. You know what I mean? Like it's a small group of people. But yeah, no, I mean I get it. I'm not into sports. I've never really been into sports either, and I don't feel like you're arguing with me. How we perceive politics, so many people think it's just sports ball with suits. Yes, a lot of people do view it that way. Dr. Ben got kicked out of the military and moved down to Mexico. Uh, oops, I just oops, I just lost my place in. I just lost my place in chat. Where the heck? Where was I? Hey there, Sassy. Welcome. Fred looks so pretty in that banner. Thank you. I really appreciate that. Isn't mixed doubles a thing in tennis? Is it? I don't know what that means. Is that like a co-ed thing? Oh, also, I'm not in live chat. Why am I not in live chat? There we go. Okay. I found these inappropriate pictures and videos on biological women showing their private parts while they're in their own locker rooms on the website of Google. Overcoming, I don't know why you're sharing that. I also don't get why some biological women get passes for making and keeping these porn pictures and videos of themselves and other women while they're in their own locker rooms. Oh, I see what you're saying. Okay. I mean, yeah, like I think that's illegal, right? Like you're not allowed to like make porn in public. Like I'm pretty sure that's illegal. They probably don't get anything for it. I don't know. Uh, Um, I had a void kitty named Fred. After we brought him in, we asked him what his name was, and he said Fred. Aw, that's so cute. I love that. Freddy is a good boy. He's a good boy. Yes, he is. Something else too. The people who thought there was a mandate giving the right to be as awful as possible now realize that they're more hated than ever, which further angers them. Yes. Yeah, see, and that's the thing is like a lot of these conservatives used to be socially aware enough to be like, "Hey, I can't just like completely rip the mask off because if I do that, if I take the mask off, everyone's going to hate me or whatever." But unfortunately, or fortunately, I guess, they Trump gave them well, I don't know if it's fortunate or unfortunate. Trump gave them permission to take the mask off. But Trump is insulated from the consequences of his own actions. Other people are not. Like you can take a lot of the stuff that Trump says and you can like try to repeat it as a conservative. You are not going to get very far in life. Trump can, you know, get away with it cuz he's got immense power and wealth. But if you're like some poor conservative roid or whatever, you're not going to get very far ripping the mask off because like the people around you who actually care about human rights are going to respond. There's going to be consequences. Um there. Something else too, Charlie Kirk didn't become the martyr they expected. They thought Kirk's death would be their unifying moment throughout the entire US. Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, that's very true. Conservatives did the classic Nazi thing and overplayed their hand. Yeah, it's very true. They were too disrespectful and they overreached with the Charlie Kirk thing. They could not be normal about it, but it backfired. They could not be normal about it, but it backfired. Oh yeah, I see what you're saying. It has been cathartic to see most of the Trump flags slowly coming down in red Colorado. Only people who still stand by that shit are elderly and racist as the president himself. Yeah, exactly. I mean, like, I know a lot of people who voted for Trump 3 times and are like fed up with him. Is it too little, too late? Yes, it is very much too little, too late. But it is what it is. I mean, like, there are gonna be some people who were duped by him, and yeah. If they really wanted to, they could have used Charlie Kirk's death for a lot, but they are too feral. I like look, I think that people like Ben Shapiro and Charlie Kirk, people overemphasize how much cultural power people like that actually have. Like Charlie Kirk was not that popular. He wasn't. He was not that popular. Online, he was popular, sure. In a very small portion of the alt right, he was very popular. But like like a lot of people don't even know shit about Charlie Kirk. You know what I mean? Like when Charlie Kirk died, I had to explain to a lot of people in my life who Charlie Kirk was before they were able to understand the news that was going around, right? And so like they expected him to be this big martyr, but it's not like everyone knows who Charlie Kirk is. Like he was not this hugely popular person. They really tried to blow his death out of proportion, to be honest. You found inappropriate. Okay, okay. The GOP candidate for the governor election in Colorado is cartoonishly crazy. Well, that's good for us, but that's kind of bad. I feel like I may be missing additional oh yeah, yeah. I hate to sound ageist. I love my accepting boomer parents, but the boomers are what keep Taco going. When they age out, things might improve. No, I mean like boomers are objectively more conservative than millennials and Gen Xers. That is true. And I think that a lot like people live longer now than they used to. And so a lot of these people like quality of life is better too. So a lot of these people are still active in society even though they're extremely old and like in like normally in human society the generations kind of age out a bit faster and remove themselves from active society like voting and active politics a lot faster, but we live in a day and age where like our current president is a boomer. Like I you know what I mean, like he is a boomer, and so like he should not be in office. Like we should not have like there should be no boomers left in office. They should all be aged out of office, but they aren't because we have a good enough medical technology that we can keep these people around trucking along until they're basically on their deathbed. And it's unfortunate, but there is a consequence to that. And yeah, this is all very reminiscent of watching people realize they are no longer hip by being a millennial. It was great fun watching other millennials find out they are not cool anymore. Uh sure, yeah. I mean, I never really felt like I was super cool as a millennial. Um I mean, that sort of happens with every generation when they're young, I think, right? Like, when you're young and you're in high school, you're like, "Yeah, our generation is hot shit." And then you get out of high school and you realize no one cares. Bu 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 My mom, for whatever reason, has tripled down on her MAGA support. I know part of her is not liking me being trans, but how far she's going with it is insane. She acts like it's 2016 all over again. Yeah, and you see, that's gonna be the dichotomy, right? Like, look, people have a hard time admitting that they've been duped. Like, people have a really hard time admitting that someone has lied to them, that they were gullible, that they were duped. And so there are going to be two kinds of people after Trump, or even right now. They're going to be the kind of people who have the personal strength and willpower to be like, "Yo, I was misled, I was lied to, I was misinformed, all this stuff." And then they can try to reintegrate into society. But then there are going to be a lot of people who don't do that, who are, like, afraid to admit that they've been lied to, they're afraid to admit that they've been duped, that they were gullible, and so they're gonna double, triple down, and they're gonna just take that shit to their deathbed, they're just gonna take that shit to the end of their days because they don't have the personal strength to admit they're wrong. Like, look, I'm gonna be honest with you, there's this thing in culture where people do not wanna admit when they're wrong, right? Like, a lot of people, if you've made a mistake, if you had a bad viewpoint, if you said something stupid, there's kind of this instinct that a lot of people have to double down on it and be like, "No, actually, like, that shitty thing I did was actually good because I'm good. I'm a good person, okay?" And, like, a lot of people wanna do that. But it takes immense personal strength and willpower to be like, "Yo, like, I'm a good person, but that thing that I did, that was not a good thing to do. And, like, I mistreated people, or I was a bigot, or I was misinformed." It takes a lot of personal strength to be willing to admit that you're at fault for something and that you did something wrong or believed something that was harmful. And then being willing to, like, move past that and grow through it takes a lot of effort, and it takes a lot of personal courage and strength. And so that's why, like, honestly, a lot of these people that are too afraid to admit that MAGA was a mistake, like, these people are just weak. I mean, they're just weak shit, like, they're weak sauce. Oh, you okay, Fred? He just kind of, like, stumbled off his little. Obviously, watching boomers realize the power is slipping between their fingers is very entertaining as well. Yeah, I mean, it's like, look, the power is gonna slip through their fingers one way or the other, right? Like, they're gonna all fucking die. Like, we're all gonna die, right? Like, so, like, boomers are gonna die, and once they're all dead, the power is like, they can't hold on to power once they're dead. So, like, I don't know, like, there's this thing about getting older where you're supposed to accept, like, "Hey, I'm getting older, I don't have the same faculties that I used to have, my acuity, my physical and mental acuity is going down, and I'm going to accept that, and I'm going to move into a more passive part of my life where I just sort of, like, let the younger generations take over, and I sort of, like, relax and enjoy the fruits of my labor and all this other stuff." But they don't do that shit. Like, the boomers are not doing that shit. Oh my god, Ashlyn, thank you so much for the 5,550 bits. That's amazing. Thank you. That's really, really kind of you. I appreciate that. When I keep hearing Charlie, I had to confirm it wasn't Cameron. What is with all these CK names? Cameron, Charlie, Candace. Yeah, that's a good point. I don't know. Uh all the boomers I know are based, trying to live off grid, mad and protesting in front of the malls with their arts and crafts. Well, that's good. That's good. And yeah, like, not all boomers are evil, terrible people. It's just that, like, the overall cultural movement of the boomers has been conservative. Uh ugh. Conspiracy theory, vapes marketed towards men cause CTE. I don't know about that. I think, like, look, vaping is bad for you. Okay? Vaping is bad for you. Smoking is bad for you. It's not good for you. Drinking is bad for you. Like, it's not good for your brain. So, uh, you know, like, and men are not the only people vaping. Okay, let me. I'm sorry. I'm, like, really far behind on chat. Let me try to catch up here. I saw a really funny joke in there. I can't wait to get back for that. Hold on. Plenty of cool old tree beard hippies. Boomers can be just as rad as anyone. No, I agree. I'm not trying to be an ageist or anything. I'm just, like in general, the boomer generation is overwhelmingly conservative. That's just kind of a fact. To clarify, by hurt male brains, I meant on a fundamental level, not a physical one. So many people I know who did sports in high school maintain that mentality for all life facets after. No, for sure. And I mean, like, look, American culture is toxic to your brain. American propaganda is toxic to your brain. Like, that is just like, that is not a male issue. That is an everyone issue. Like, there are tons of women who, like, are incredibly misinformed and misogynistic and stupid. Like it's not just men, but it does hurt men too. Hopefully they were reported. Okay, all right. I thought I know someone who thought Kirk's death gave him a no more Mr. Nice Guy excuse to say slurs in public. He got fired and he got mocked in public. That's what I mean. Like, these people take their mask off and they think that there's not going to be a consequence because, it kind of feels like it's the time for them to do it or whatever. But then they get the consequences. So, like, yeah, woke 2 is coming, everybody. Fred is very needy. Yes, Fred is a very needy boy. He heard me talking about him. I love you, Fred. Yeah. Oh, he slow blinked at me. I slow blink at Fred a lot, and he slow blinks back at me. It makes me happy. Liberalism is just as much to blame for why people are going full mask off. It became too normalized to accept all others with no level of gatekeeping, and that ultimately gave Nazis breathing room. Yeah, so I will say that, like, the centrist idea of, like, you believe what you want to believe and I'll believe what I want to believe, that is very toxic as well. Like, I do think that part of the neoliberal era needs to die because it is not good. It's not good to be like, oh, bygones or whatever, or you just do whatever you want, bro. Like, your beliefs are not my beliefs and we can agree to disagree. Like, we can agree to disagree on certain things, but when it comes to something like human rights or when it comes to something like that, like, no, we cannot agree to disagree. And actually, I do this nuanced position all the time where I talk about how, like, a lot of people on the left will just say all conservatives are bad, and if they meet a conservative, they just immediately assume they're a Nazi, and they like, shit all over them and make them feel terrible and whatever. Like, I think it's important to realize that, like, conservative politics and politicians, that does not, like, not every conservative is like a conservative politician. Like you're not going to go talk to every conservative in the United States and they're going to be like talking like how Lindsey Graham used to talk or whatever. Like, there's a big gap there, right? And I think it's important for us to recognize. And so, like, I think it's important not to, like, not to just be like, oh, you're a conservative, therefore you're like you're like a complete piece of shit. Like, I don't think that that's healthy, but I do think that it's also healthy for us to stand on our beliefs and stand on our principles. Like, do I think that we should just hate people for being conservative? No. But do I think that we should be like, oh, but if you want to just have, like, bigoted beliefs or whatever, it's cool, bro. Like, no, I'm not saying that either. Like, I'm saying that, like, if you have an uncle who's like diehard MAGA who says slurs out in public or whatever, like, they should face consequences and they should face pushback, and it should not just be like, whatever, bro. It should not just be whatever, bro. You know what I mean? But, like, at the same time, like, we need to fight this reactionary instinct on the left to be like, oh, every conservative is a Nazi, because that's not true. A lot of these people are just horribly misinformed, or, like, they're working on a belief structure that they built like 25 years ago that has nothing to do with modern politics, but they have yet to update their belief system because they just, like, don't pay attention. And I know some conservatives that are incredibly good-natured people, like, incredibly kind and good-natured people. They just so happen to be incredibly stupid when it comes to politics. And so in my mind, I'm not going to sit there and be like, I'm going to ostracize you from public life because you're an idiot. I'm going to kindly try to educate them where I can on political issues. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But, like, I think, like, polarization is not a good thing. Okay. Uh, but am I saying that you should just let MAGA people, like, see, I hate having this conversation because the more I have this conversation, the more people like do not have an ability to internalize the nuance that I am saying here. You know what I mean? Like I hope some of you in my audience understand what I'm getting at here, but like every time I bring up this point, I get like comments or whatever from people where they're like, "Oh, you want me to be like abused by some conservative piece of shit just because you think I should be nice to them?" Like, no, that's not at all what I said. And if you take it that way, you're just being reactionary. Trump is the living caricature of a president doing all the wrong things deliberately. Yes. So a white guy killed another white guy, so your coworker gets to say morning slurs despite his first name not being Erica and his last not being Kirk. Wait, what? I did that. I was confused by that comment. I'm sorry. He was popular because his daddy's money, bought a lot of AI Facebook ads. Yeah. I legitimately almost forgot Kirk existed many times. Yeah, no, for sure. Here's the funny joke that I saw. Well, Charlie Kirk did lean left at the end. Oh, that's whew, that is a joke. That is whew, whew. I had to explain to people who Charlie Kirk was. It was so alarming hearing that awful name out of my grandma's mouth. Yeah. They probably won't ban them because they are biological women and they have their own locker rooms, which shouldn't be an excuse to let that slide. No, like, look, overcoming. I understand what you're getting at, but like doing porn in public is illegal. Okay, like I don't know where the conversation needs to go other than that. I'm sure people do it. You know, like I'm sure people record private moments in the locker room and sell it on their OnlyFans or whatever. But like, you know, I don't know what kind of a conversation we can really have from that. Um, Charlie, your legacy is a bunch of brain rot memes. Rest in piss. Yeah. Ooh, burn. Yeah, I know. That is that's probably one of the best Charlie Kirk jokes I've heard, like at all. Like it's that was pretty good. I like dark humor. I think it's funny. Charlie, your legacy is a bunch of brain rot memes. I already read that. It was always about giving Nazis breathing room and over promoting them to compare to other groups. Half the people in the Senate are over 65. Exactly. Half the people in the Senate have been replaced with clones. I would like to warn trans people not to go to the state of Kansas because these people are going to ban them from having their driver's license and IDs. If so, if you're in Kansas, they cannot ban you from having a that is for people living in Kansas. Do not move to Kansas if you're trans. Yes, that is true. There is at least one case I know where a cis lady was filming a trans lady and the cis lady got banned because filming in locker rooms is banned. I actually saw that story too. Way ahead of you. My own state is somewhat better, but we still have fascists in the legislature. Hey, Leah, oh, hey there, Butterbean. I also did that same shit years ago, but it was also, I didn't know better whatsoever. Now I'm a communist. I was an awful conservative, of a bigoted person over 3 years ago. Hey, Butterbean, thank you so much for sharing your personal journey there. I really appreciate that. It's really awesome of you to be vulnerable about that. I have also grown a lot over the years. Like, you know, like I will admit that part of the reason why it took me so long to transition was because I was sort of like a centrist dipshit for a long time. Like for a long time, I just didn't know anything about politics. And I was a little bit transphobic and I was a little bit not a great person. You know, like there were points in my life where I was not a great person and it took a lot of like learning and growth and humbleness for me to be willing to admit like, hey, you know, I've been reactionary or I've been this or that. And, you know, growing is a beautiful thing. And like I honestly think that like I'm huge on restorative justice. I think that if like we should allow people the space to grow. And like rather than expecting people to be these pure perfect beings like without any like without anything at all happening to them is unrealistic. Like we should expect people to have problems and to have, you know, blind areas in their life where maybe they're a little bit reactionary or maybe they're a little bit whatever, but then you're like being willing to hold the space for someone to have the opportunity to grow is huge. I know a lot of people who have thanked me in my life because I've given them the opportunity and the space to grow. Now, do I cede ground? Do I let them trample all over me? No. I'm very firm with these people, but I'm firm in a way that tells them or shows them that I love them and I care about them and I want to see them develop and grow as a human rather than like just throw them in the trash bin and walk away, right? And that has made a difference in some people's lives. Like, you'd be surprised at how many people I've educated about trans rights and other things, when they've been clearly very ignorant. And am I ceding ground to these people? No, but I'm being very clear to them that, like, they're misinformed, and, like, like, trying to help them grow and educate them about our community and stuff like that. So, yeah, thank you for that vulnerability. Uh, don't let it. And I see you said afterwards. Oh my gosh, the $20. Thank you so much. I'm so sorry I missed it. I don't know why that didn't pop up. Ray, thank you so much for the $2, not $20. Why do people think him is good? He has no empathy. I don't know who you're talking about specifically. Were you talking about Kirk, or you were talking about Trump? I mean, it really doesn't even matter who you're talking about with when it comes to the conservative MAGA movement. They all lack empathy. But yeah, no, I agree. Like, I think people celebrating Charlie Kirk is ridiculous. Like, what did Charlie Kirk advocate for other than, like, bigotry and harmful things, right? Like, he advocated for a lot of horrible things. So, but oh, you said also. I'm sorry, I'm so far behind on chat. I really apologize. I'm like trying my best to catch up here. Uh, you said you can relate heavily to this and it still haunts you. Try not to let it haunt you. Like, I know it's hard when you have a past where you, like, you feel a little shameful of what you used to believe and who you used to be. But this actually gives you a unique perspective in life that will help you connect to other people. Like, I can help people realize, like, because I at one point in my life was kind of a shitty person, I know what it's like to be there. And so I have a little bit of an inside perspective with people where I can be like, hey, you know, like, I also at one point in my life was maybe not the nicest person, but I want you to be aware, like, there is an opportunity, like, you can grow, like, like, there is a better thing over here. Um, so, like, really, it's just a unique perspective that you have, and honestly, it's not a bad one. Like, it's okay to not be a perfect person and to grow, and like, if anything, it shows resilience that you're able to accept, that you need to change and do that. Like, that's really awesome. The boomers will merge with AI. Yeah, we'll never get rid of the boomers because they'll all merge with AI. Two people I see not taking a terminal diagnosis of any sort very well compared to other people are Elon Musk and Peter Thiel due to their god complex. Well, any billionaire, any really rich person, any famous person is not able to handle their own mortality well. That just makes sense to me because these people have viewed them as above other people, and so they kind of view death as something that happens to poor people, but not them. Um, which is obviously silly. I bet galaxy gas is doing measurable brain damage and what is galaxy gas? I don't know what that is. I'm pretty sure Mitch McConnell is only alive because they sacrificed Lindsey Graham to refill his phylactery. Yeah, they sacrificed Graham. That's so funny. I've never had any interest in drinking or smoking at all. Not even a moralistic or health reasons behind it. It's just never appealed to me whatsoever. Yeah, so I never drank when I was growing up, and I never smoked when I was growing up. The first time I ever drank alcohol when I was 21, I drank from the ages of 21 to 23, and then I stopped drinking. And I didn't drink very heavily. I just, like, like at parties or whatever. But drinking sucks. I don't really like it. Like, obviously, I've talked about being a cannabis user, and like lately I've been cutting back a lot, and like, basically, like, on a very, very low dose of cannabis compared to what I used to be on. Like, I'm mostly doing edibles now instead of carts and vapes and stuff. Um yeah, absolutely. American culture is awful, including the manosphere, a whole bunch. And yeah, the manosphere is shitty. Alan Wake Chicken Bake, thank you so much for subbing with the Prime there. Thank you so much for that. I really appreciate that. That's very kind of you. Boomers need AI because the behavior is warranted for the way they treat other humans. Uh, I had a single drink when I reached 40. I've also used that quip that I drink once about every 40 years. That's funny. Uh, Smoking is bad for me, but I'm going to have a vice. Damn it. I can't eat sweets. I can't drink. I will smoke. Hey, you know what? I'm huge on, like, people are allowed to have vices. Like, I'm not one of those people who's like everyone, even if you don't smoke or drink, you have a vice. Like, do you play too much video games? Do you eat too many sweets? Do you like what you know what I mean? Like everyone's got a vice. And I think that that's normal. I think that's human, you know? And so like I really don't think that that's something that uh we need to like demonize or anything. Like I think obviously people should be aware of the consequences of a vice that you have, but like everyone's got a vice. Everyone does. Um Hey Leah, I still have a mother and who still supports MAGA and Trump even after all this time. I've given up on her last year, having to rudely accept she's long gone after trying 2.5 years. No, I totally get that. And I'm like when I was talking about what I was talking about earlier, you know, about like being willing to hold a little bit of space for conservative people and like to accept that not all conservative people are evil or like too far gone. That does not mean that there aren't conservative people who are too far gone. There are definitely conservative people who are way too far gone. And like, you know, like it is up to everyone to make that distinction and that on their own. Like it's up to everyone to have that personal kind of conversation with yourself about where someone is on that continuum. But I think that there's this tribalistic mentality on the left where it's like, oh, you're a conservative. You must be the biggest piece of shit on the face of the earth. You must love murdering minorities. You must love the death of like blah, 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 whatever. And it's like, no, like I think that that's harmful. Like we need like the whole point of restorative justice is that like you being able to accept that people can grow and change requires you to accept that people can grow and change. You know what I mean? And so like you have to treat everyone with a sort of a basic level of respect unless they prove to you that they don't deserve that, which you know like it sounds like your mom isn't. Yeah. MAGA is not conservative. There is overlap, but it's not the same. No, yes. MAGA, people in MAGA are conservative, but they are like far right. They are alt right, right? So like not all conservatives are MAGA, but all MAGAs are conservative. And so like I just think that that's important for people to know. With as much as the orange one pees and poops himself, would that be considered huffing Jenkum? Ew. But also hello health. Good to see you. Hello Unreal Crafter. Good to see you. Good to see you. Um I feel like I have no choice but to ostracize the conservative people in my life since I know that they would ostracize me if they got to know me fully. Most cons will not interact with me because of my skin color. Well, I'm sorry to hear that. And yes, I know what you're saying and I get that. Like a lot of people are not going to treat you with respect, but like I just think that like people deserve to like at least like you like people deserve to be given the chance to show you their true colors, right? Like if someone shows you their true colors and they're an unredeemable MAGA piece of shit, then yeah, like fuck them all the way to the ends of the earth. Like tell them to eat shit, tell them to chomp on down on a huge bag of dicks. Like I don't give a flying fuck what you tell your conservative like MAGA uncle who thinks that like Trump is literally like an emissary from God and is like, if you have someone who's that sycophantic in your life, then yeah, like they should definitely just fuck off and like the world would be better off without them. Like, sure. But like, I just, like I'm saying, I think a lot of people on the left conflate that and they just go, oh, okay, everyone who's conservative is evil scum of the earth and should die. And it's like, yo, if you approach everybody with that mentality that's conservative, you're not giving anyone an off ramp. Like, how many conservatives would have an off ramp if they weren't completely ostracized by people on the left? You know what I mean? Like when I used to not be a leftist, right? And the vibe I got from leftists when I wasn't a leftist is that because you're not already a leftist, you deserve nothing but hate and vitriol and fuck you and you should go die. That was the vibe that I got from leftists when I wasn't a leftist. And let me be clear, I was not a conservative. I was just a very imperfect kind of centrist moderate dem, I guess, is what I used to be. But like this is way back in the day, right? But like what I'm saying is that we need to make room for people to grow into our movement instead of just blanket saying if you're not already the most pure, perfect leftist ever, go fuck yourself. You know what I mean? And like again, this is a nuanced position, and I don't think everyone's gonna get it. How the fuck did we get from Charlie Kirk to public pornography? Well, there's someone in the chat like really, really, really pushing this conversation, which I don't really understand. Like, yes, there are people who record public pornography and they're cis people, and it's gross and it's harmful and they shouldn't be doing it. I really don't understand what that has anything to do with like the conversation. Like, it's already illegal to do that, right? So like I'm not sure what the point of the conversation is here. I agree with you to a degree, Sassy, because many conservatives I've met are so awful. I know there are some who are good, but it's so damn rare where the well, see, I'm not even saying that there are good conservatives. I'm saying that like there are conservatives that are bad, but like they're not unredeemably MAGA bad, right? Age perspective, like I would have treated MAGA like the fascists they are. Um, Conservative to gay pipeline. Yep, it's real. How come Donald Trump doesn't want to take accountability for what he has done on these Epstein files, but he wants to keep trans women banned from well, because he's a piece of shit overcoming. Donald Trump is a rapist, pedophile piece of shit. Like, and I like, of course he doesn't want to take accountability for being like literally like the world's biggest pedophile at this point. Like like he is too far gone. He is the definition of the too far, like he is the leader of the too far gone movement. Like I don't even know what you're talking, like honestly, I don't even understand what your point is. Like of course he's a huge piece of shit. Like yep. Like I don't understand what the conversation that you're trying to spawn out of it. Like he wants to keep trans women banned from playing sports and other activities, but also he's on the Epstein files. Like well yeah, he's a bigot and he's also a pedophile. I'm not quite sure where you're going here. Even Nixon, crook he was, would have hated MAGA. Yeah, true. There was actually a US government video from around the 50s where they warned about fascists and how to identify them. Well, yeah, because we spent all of World War II fighting fascism, which is hilarious because like there are so many people who are like, oh yeah, America in World War II, based, so based. But then there are those same people who are like MAGA and like it's like you are literally a fascist who fetishizes the defeat of fascism. Like that is so unbelievably stupid that it's just like it's shocking, you know. Gotta go to bed now. Oh, thank you. You have a good one. I mean, never letting people a chance is a recipe for horrible society. Yeah. Pre-social transition, I was the most fragile, ego, toxic asshole you could imagine. Now I'm a goth socialist baddie and wouldn't have it any other way. Well, that's awesome, awesome. I'm happy for you. Um, really happy for you. Oh my god, holy fuck. I'm really trying to catch up here. I'm almost there. I'm almost there. I'm almost there. I'm almost there. Uh, Yeah, this is a response, Leah, to you responding to my first comment to you. Yeah, I remember watching the video on anti-woke fascism by Second Thought, which woke me up the 23rd of February, 2023. Wow, that's you have the date and everything. Well, that's cool. I'm glad that you were able to, kind of wake up from that. It's challenging for me to think of an example of a type of conservative person that I could really get on with. It's like I will always keep them at arm's length. I have a friend, like one of my best friends in the whole world is like a very traditional values kind of person. She is very anti-MAGA, but she's a Christian. She goes to church, she's married, she has kids, and we're like super duper 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 close. And she's a sweetheart. She's amazing. You know? Like, is she perfect? No. Has she said some things to me before where I'm like, girl, girl, you need to like check that a little bit. Like, yes, that stuff has happened, but do I love her? Yes. Like, and I think the world would be worse off if I just ostracized her, and I would be worse off. You know? I'm not saying that it's like the most common thing ever. I'm just saying that there are a lot of conservatives who are just incredibly politically ignorant and like, you know? Anyway. I'm absolutely against conservatives, even the ideology as a whole. But yeah, doesn't mean all conservatives are bad, but much of them I experience aren't good. It's very rare for me to see a good. No, and I'm not like, look, I'm not saying that being conservative can be like, I'm not saying that if you're a conservative and you're not super MAGA that you're like a great person. Like I'm just saying that like restorative justice allows room for people to be imperfect and then also gives them room to grow. Does that mean that you cede ground? No. And I feel like I'm beating a dead horse. Like that's what happens every time I bring up this conversation. It ends up being a thing that I have to like say. Oh, I say the same thing over and over, and I end up like running in this circle where I'm like, they're not the biggest piece of shit ever, and they deserve room to grow. But also, like, I'm not saying that they're like these saints and that they're these wonderful people and that you should like bend over backwards to like keep them in your life or whatever. Like, I just feel like on the internet, nuance is like so bad. It's so hard to have a nuanced conversation online. They tried to get a freeway renamed for him where I live, but that got shot down. No pun intended. I decided to have this conversation because biological women have called out trans women and trans girls for existing in their sports, but they didn't want to own up for their own wrongful actions. Overcoming, can you please just say like cis women instead of biological? Because like you do realize that saying biological women is kind of transphobic, right? Like I'm not trying to like call you out or anything. I'm just saying that like a lot of TERFs and a lot of like transphobic people will say, "Oh, this," instead of calling someone a trans woman, they'll call them like a biological male, which is really insulting. Because like obvious, like I'm not biologically a male anymore. I have been on HRT for almost 3 years. My body has fucking changed. This shit is not the same. Like I calling me a biological male is an insult to males. Or well, that's a weird way to say that. You know what I mean? It's just like it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. So I just please use the terms cis and trans instead of calling it, yeah. Move your head a little to the right. Your cat needs more screen time. Well, guess what? Freddy's right here right now. The can man. He's right here right now. Speaking of horrible, I thought CK's death was delicious irony. Yes, it was. Being killed by gun violence after saying that gun violence is necessary is kind of a whole thing. Biological is a bit of a useless adjective. Cyborgs are not common unless you count pacemakers and artificial lenses. Yes, economic prisoner. That's what I was getting at. Oh my gosh, another $2. I'm so sorry. Who sent that? Ray? Was that Ray? Why is it not notifying me when I get these damn super chats? It's supposed to pop up at the top, and notify me so that even if I'm not at the bottom of chat, it's supposed to. Whatever. Did you see they finally got the Tate Bros? Yeah, didn't they get arrested again? Also, hello, PP Jackson. Hello. Didn't they get arrested again? Can someone give me the scoop on like let me just search. Let me search it up. Let me search it up. So, Tate brothers are expected in a Miami court following their arrest and a UK extradition request. On Saturday, influencer brothers Andrew and Tristan Tate were arrested in Miami and held in federal detention to face rape and sex trafficking charges brought by British prosecutors, citing 4 new victims and evidence from Bedfordshire police. The dual U.S. and British citizens moved to Romania. Oh, they're dual citizens. Ooh, they really fucked up there. If they were just U.S. citizens, they might have gotten away with it. But the fact that they're British citizens, oh, that's awesome. Hell yeah. But that's like a rare based British moment right there. Well, I hope it sticks. I hope that they get fucked in the ass in prison. And they probably will enjoy it too. And then they'll probably hate themselves for enjoying it. Anyway, why do even some gay people hate trans people? I'm trans. It's look, in transphobia, homophobia, and racism and sexism are inherently like a part of American propaganda and in like a part of like if you are an American, you have a lot of internal homophobia, transphobia, sexism, racism that you need to deconstruct. Like it's just a fact of life if you're an American. And like, unfortunately, there's a lot of gay people who are very comfortable with the fact that they're gay, but they haven't deconstructed their transphobia, the internalized transphobia that's been like pushed into them by society. So that's why, like everyone, it doesn't matter if you're black or white or a woman or a man or gay or straight. Everyone has some weird shit going on that's been pushed into them by societal bullshit. And you have to deconstruct that stuff. It takes a very active process of being like, hey, why do I have this? Like, maybe a gay man has like a weird reaction to trans women, and it's like, yo, you need to like deconstruct that, and you need to like figure out why are you having this weird reaction, and like where's that coming from. And oftentimes it's just an emotional reaction that's then justified with um shitty bigotry, but like, being able to confront like, okay, why do trans women make me feel weird, or whatever, like that's a huge step in the right direction. Moon Cascade, thank you so much for the follow on Twitch. I really appreciate that. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. To be honest, some people, including my family members, may have a deep problem with me wearing my own unisex skirt or dress as a man in public spaces where I'm allowed to do so. That's true, and that's unfortunate, and I'm sorry. And I think that, like, honestly, like the gender and sex binary and all that stuff is toxic to people. It definitely is, especially for intersex people. Intersex people deserve to have whatever presentation they want to have, regardless of their anatomy, and everyone deserves to have the presentation they want to have, regardless of their anatomy. Um, Hello, Turtlebird. Welcome. It's okay that you're late. Billionaires have spent a lot of money buying and controlling media, social media, and comment bots to brainwash old and uninformed people. Allegra, that is very, very true. Online, it is like it is a huge problem. There is an influx of like money being spent towards right wing bots and right wing social platforms and right wing media spaces, that makes it seem like it has like outsized popularity when it really doesn't. It really doesn't. It's not as popular as it seems. It's just like the internet makes you feel like it is. Moon Cascade, been a YouTube viewer for a few years, question mark, but now keep forgetting to follow your Twitch. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate the consistent support. Thank you for that. That's really nice of you. Yeah, my channel has been around for 2 years. For those of you in the deep cut, I had a YouTube channel prior to this YouTube channel, which I think I deleted actually. I'm pretty sure I deleted it recently. But yeah, I've been on YouTube for like maybe a total of 5 years. But the first 3 years were kind of like not. It was like gaming. Like I did like gaming for like 3 years, and then I transitioned, and then I like left YouTube for a little bit, and then I came back talking about trans rights and politics and stuff. Worse than public sex is people pushing their kinks in public. That's a nasty violation of consent. That's true. I would agree with that. Hey there, gay asparagus. What did you miss? Oh my gosh, we've just been going. We've just been going and going and going. Also, is this right? Why is it not showing me your username here? Let me. Yeah, Ray. That's your name. Okay. Thank you again for the Canadian $2. Also, I hope you're doing okay over there in Canada with the wildfires and everything. I know that that's like rough for everybody. I've heard it's been really hard on everybody. So, um, hello, and thank you for the money, and I hope you're doing okay, and I'm glad you enjoy the live streams. Can you see my messages? Yes, I can see your messages, Ray. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Look. I try to respond to like everything in chat, and for that reason, I often get really far behind in chat, and I'll be like 10 minutes behind in chat, and it'll take me a while to catch up, and so I apologize if it seems like I'm ignoring you. I'm not ignoring you. I promise. I'm trying my best. It's just like I don't want to just like ignore people just to stay caught up on chat. So I just yeah. Not shaming anyone for needing it, but I have never received any kind of gentle off ramp for any beliefs I've had. Even people I agree with usually treat me like shit. Well, sassy, I think that that's unfortunate. I don't think that the only way to become a leftist should be like caving to shame. Like I think that that's dog shit. Honestly, like look. I think shame is important. I think that like if you know someone who's like a super bigot, who's like a piece of shit, then yeah, you should shame the fuck out of that person. You should make them feel bad for being a shitty, shitty, shitty person. But if someone is just like horribly misinformed and like kind of well intentioned, but like has some problematic beliefs, I do not think that we should come at those people the same way. I do not think that we should come at those people as if they are like the biggest piece of shit of all time and equivalent to people who are actually the biggest pieces of shit of all time. And like honestly, I would have become a leftist sooner if I didn't feel like the left was such a like mean-spirited place to be back in the day. And that's how a lot of people who aren't leftists feel like they feel. They feel a lot of vitriol coming from the left. And like what they don't realize is that's just like a lot of hatred towards the belief systems that are harmful to people, but people take that shit personally. Secular felinist, thank you so much for the $5. See, that one popped up at the top of my screen. Maybe it has to be $5 to pop up or something. That's kind of sad. But for Fred's belly, oh, thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That's really nice of you. I support Donald Trump and I'm not changing my opinion on him. No offense, by the way. Well, that's okay. You're allowed to be wrong. You're allowed to be wrong. And like, look, if you support Donald Trump in this late date, you support a pedophile, you support someone who is actually one of the biggest pieces of shit of all time, like literally the worst president. Like you're objectively your politics suck, and I hope that you grow. Um I hope that you wake up and stop falling for his bullshit. Because if you think Donald Trump cares about you, Arthur Morgan, he does not care about you. Trump hates his base. Trump hates poor people. Trump, if you're not rich, if you're not handing him millions of dollars, he hates you. So, like, you know, a lot of people that are MAGA, it's actually really funny because they're the kind of people that Trump hates, but they follow him sycophantically, and it's kind of like this irony. Um, where it's like if you met Donald Trump and were in a room alone with him, he would spit on you and be like, "Get the fuck away from me, you freak." But then like you like love and support him like to the end of his life or whatever. Um, I had no style or personality outside of copying others to fit in pre-transition. Part of that is an autism thing too. Yeah, no, and same actually. Uh, traditional values as in polygamy. uh, if I could cut my parents off, I would. I don't blame you. I get it. Some parents are incredibly toxic, and I don't blame you for doing that. I personally, um, I cut my father. I was no contact with my father for a long time, and unfortunately, he died before we were able to have any kind of reconnection. And you know, I often feel a little bit guilty for that, but he gave me reasons to be no contact with him, and it's not like I didn't try. Like I tried to have a successful relationship with my father many times, especially in my adult life, and it does not it did not work out. And so like I try not to blame myself, but you know, like I get it. I get it. I was there. I what you know what I mean? Like I'm not like anyway. Responding to the US government video from the 50s about fascism, one of the things is people don't always remember about stuff like Operation Paperclip, where we brought in Nazis and fascists from Nazi Germany. You know, people don't remember that at all. This was where we didn't charge them for crimes as long as they give us tech against the Soviet. Yeah, yeah, I remember. Yeah, I know. But like a lot of people, yeah, a lot of people are very uninformed and whatever. If you can stand MAGA people, then you should keep in contact with them, keep them out of the echo chamber at least. I like nuance, right? Nuance there. If someone is like abusing you, if someone is like actively harassing or terrorizing you, then no, you should not keep them in your life. If it is making your life miserable, no, you should not keep them in your life. But if they're just sort of a conservative and it's like they're just ignorant, they're just a bit uninformed, then yeah, I think you should stay in their life and be a positive potential influence on them. One of the other things from archives and historical government documents that many don't know from the United States Strategic Bombing Survey of World War II shows the atomic bombs wouldn't be needed to win World War. No, no, yeah, no. I mean, that's like if anyone has studied history, the nukes were not needed. Like they were going to surrender anyway. Like we were not like the nukes was that was like a psychotic thing to do. We were just drunk on power. Indeed, we worried the Soviets would get the edge with their own Nazi scientists, so morals went out the door. Yeah. DK can suck it, but ATP, I think gun control is a bad idea. They're trying to ban trans people from owning firearms. Um, I think gun control is a good idea, but obviously, like, banning specifically trans people from firearms is, like, a shitty idea. Another one is from the US Department of Energy archives on the Manhattan Project admitted the atomic bombs of why they were still, uh, dropped even if they weren't necessary to win, yeah. I mean, if we're gonna have a more collective society, we need to be able to talk to conservatives who are open to discussion and coming together, but that's not gonna be everyone. No, exactly. And like, look, I get comments when I have this conversation, I get comments from people who are like, yeah, well, that's good for you, but I'm exhausted and I'm worn out and I've been abused and I've been mistreated. And about it's like, okay, I'm not talking to you. Like, if you don't have the spoons to handle this kind of conversation with someone, then don't have it. I'm just asking you, like, if you're out of spoons, if you've been abused, if you've been whatever, and like you don't have the ability to talk to people like that, then just leave, just don't talk to them. But don't like be like, oh, you fucking Nazi piece of shit, like fuck you know what I mean? Like don't make it worse. Just like let other people who have the spoons and the energy and the time or whatever to do that kind of stuff. Anyway, I think I feel like that conversation is just something that we're just like it just keeps going on and on and on, and like we don't need to keep talking about it. The Tate brothers' arrest is another example of how the right wing is collapsing at every corner. Yeah, the archive from Department of Energy admitted the atomic bombs were used as a power move against the Soviet Union, not as a way to win the war. Yep, I'm aware of that. I just don't understand why do some gay people hate trans people. I answered that I think already, Ray. I hope that you were able to catch my answer. I'm sorry that it took me a while to see your super chats, and I just saw another one. Why? I hate that your super chats are not popping up. What days and times do you usually go live? So I stream Mondays, Wednesdays, and Fridays. Mondays and Wednesdays we do news and politics, and Fridays we do like gaming or just chatting streams. So yeah, the just keep in mind Monday and Wednesday news and politics, Fridays are just chatting. Um what what have you done to your identity? Oh geez. No offense, but this is just wrong transitioning okay. Whatever. This Arthur Morgan guy left. That's awesome. The trash took itself out. I legit have these documents saved in my Discord server. Let's use an archive to store my data and stuff. Uh, I never had a denial phase about being trans, but I had to work through a lot of shame. Transphobic comments popped up in my head so often. A gay male cousin of mine thinks trans women are an attack on gay men. Yeah, that's unfortunate. And I'm sorry that you had to work through that stuff, but a lot of us do, you know what I mean? And like that's normal. Like I grew up in the 90s and the only trans representation that I saw were like prostitutes, you know what I mean? Were like people who were sex workers who were being framed horribly. Like there were a lot of people, like what is it? Murray and Dr. Phil and Jerry Springer. Like that was like my exposure to trans people were like these like horrifically framed conversations where it's like we don't even need to get into that. Moon Cascade on Twitch, by the way. I'm sorry I saw your thing. I first found your channel when I first started transitioning and looked up videos on the topic to better understand stuff, and I wanted to be as pretty as you. Oh, lots has happened in 2 years, and I'm very happy with where I'm at now. The voice training videos helped a lot alongside other resources, and I sound like a different person too. Well, Moon Cascade, I am so happy for you. I'm really, really happy that I was able to be a positive influence for you in your transition. And I'm glad that you're happy with your progress too. Like, that's really awesome. I love to hear it. I love to hear it. So thank you. Thank you for sharing your little story there. Like that makes me really happy. It almost brings a tear to my eye, honestly. Like stuff like comments like that are what make me feel like being here is worth it. I receive a lot of comments from people that are like, wow, we're all fucked and we're all gonna die and I'll see you in the camps or whatever. But when people leave those nice little comments where they're like, hey, like your channel has genuinely helped me or been comforting or like you gave me something to look forward to or like whatever, like all of that stuff, it makes me really fucking happy. And it just makes all of the struggle a little bit more worth it. So thank you for sharing that. I really appreciate that. Ray Lucky, thank you so much for the follow on Twitch. I really appreciate that. When I finally started to deconstruct my transphobia, I realized it was sourced in envy and I wanted what they had. That is actually exactly what happened to me. Like I used to be a little bit transphobic towards trans women, but like it was literally just because I was like I felt like I wasn't going to be able to achieve what a lot of those people had achieved, and so I was jealous. And yeah, I had to keep I keep getting right-wing ads on every social media platform. Yeah, I've heard about that. Here's the links to the United States Strategic Bombing Survey. You can't share links in YouTube chat. We need fans to blow the wildfire smoke back to Canada powered by coal. Trump probably. You're right. Hello there, Valeria. Valera? I'm not sure how to say that actually, but hello, welcome. Yes, Kitty. Fred is a good boy. Good boy. Yeah, YouTube will not let you share links in chat, Butterbeam. You just can't. If you wanted to share links with me, I think Twitch, does Twitch allow? I think Twitch allows links. I can't remember though. Oh, I forgot that I never pinned my link tree. Oh shit. Well, here, let me fix that real quick. I'm gonna pin my link tree in both chats here, and that link tree has all of my socials on it. So if you want to watch on Twitch or YouTube, it is in there, and then you can also join my Discord or check out my Instagram where I post flow arts content, all of that stuff. Do you think Kirk actually hated trans people more than gay people? I don't know. I won't claim to know the inner workings of that monster's mind. But he was a bigot against both gay and trans people. So I don't know. Like honestly, like a lot of people on the right do hate trans women more than gay men, and that is literally because of misogyny. So um the left does seem to be really good at eating itself. I don't know if that means the left has more freedom of thought or not, but I like to think that. Um, yeah. It is an unfortunate reality. Like, I understand why people feel that way on the left because, like, once you realize how horrible some of these belief systems are, like, of course you're gonna have like a holy shit, like these people that still believe this are kind of awful kind of thing. Like, yeah, I get that. But you just have to understand that a lot of people are like really uninformed. A lot of people are really uneducated. And I would like to help people, not be that. What is your opinion as a trans woman on bi men versus women telling other wait, what? What wait. What is your opinion as a trans woman on bi men versus women telling other people? I Can you rephrase that? I'm not quite sure what you're asking. I think being racist is a kink and I will happily shame people for it. Yeah, and you should, yeah. I'm really new to this platform. I just signed up. Oh, well, welcome. Hello, Ray Ray Lucky. Happy to have you here. Thank you for the follow. I really appreciate that. It helps a lot. Helps a lot. Um, let's see. My autism makes me mask, but I'm okay with that. Interesting. Going a little back to leftists informing people, it's true. I've said things I had no idea were ignorant or deeply rooted in problematic things, which made me feel isolated when personally attacked. Yeah, DeWalt, I had the same experience where like, you were the one asking questions on YouTube. Oh, okay. Welcome to Twitch. Hello and welcome. And thank you for the super chats. I really appreciate that. It's really nice of you. And sorry it took me so long to get to your messages. Normally with super chats, it pops up at the top. No matter where I'm at in chat, it'll pop up, right? But like that I guess it only happens above a certain pay threshold, which is really dumb. But yeah, sorry for that. Rather than being informed of what you were talking about, yeah, no, I get it, DeWalt. I was actually at the same. I had the same issue when I was not a leftist. I would say things that were really ignorant or whatever, and I wouldn't. Like you don't even realize how harmful it is because you're obviously ignorant about that. But yeah, Trump isn't even a good businessman at all. It's just a fantasy trust fund baby. Yep. Sorry to hear you were estranged from your father. Mine died when I was 23 and we were not speaking. Yeah, that's actually probably a pretty similar time frame for me. I think my father died when I was like 25 or 26 or something like that. But my dad was a drug addict. He struggled with drug addiction his whole life, and his body was super fucked up. And we thought he was gonna have longer, and he didn't. My father died rather young, and it's really sad, but, you know, like, I couldn't spend my whole adult life trying to build a relationship with someone who was, just gonna throw that relationship in the dumpster, uh, we don't need to get into it, but, like, I love my father in a way, but yeah. I like your headband, just curious, do you also speak Spanish? I don't, but actually I wanna learn. I really wanna learn Spanish. That has been something that I've been feeling lately, is that, like, it would be really useful, but also, like, really nice to learn Spanish. So maybe in the future. Also, if you do have the energy to be a diplomat, it is always a good idea to consider how dangerous that potentially can be. Yes, no, for sure, and self-defense is important, and, you have to be able to gauge whether someone is actually stable or not. Like, I'm not saying this stuff is for everybody. Like, you have to have a good sense of people. You have to have good empathy. You have to have an understanding of where people are at. Like, gun control is a bad idea right now. They're more likely to discriminate against black or queer people than ever before. So, gay asparagus. Yes, if Trump were to pass a gun control law, it would probably be bad. But like, I'm not gonna say that gun control in general is a bad idea just because Trump is in office. Like, I think that's a little misguided. Uh, Speaking of gaming, have you tried other zombie games, Leah? I've been playing 7 Days to Die. There's also Dead Island 2, very satisfying combat. I've played Dead Island 2 and it's very fun. I have not beaten it though. I need to beat that game. And I've played 7 Days to Die, and 7 Days to Die is pretty good as well. I prefer Project Zomboid, but yes, I've played a few of those. I like zombie games. It depends on the zombie game, but Dr. Phil was sadistically cruel to every trans person I ever saw on there. Springer and Murray were bad too, but Phil was on an entirely different level. Yeah, no, for sure. Like, the framing on those shows were insane. There was one episode of The Night Court where a trans lady that in my memory was a decent episode for that time. I'm sure if I went back and watched it, it would be problematic. Yeah. I heard about a gun control prop banning ownership for people with drug charges. Definitely seems targeted. That sounds bad. Um, Hey Leah, it would be nice if I could have the opportunity to share my story on your channel for what I went through, and for me and for you to talk about politics of a deeper theory of why the world is. We could try Butterbean. I don't know. I let people chat in my chat. You know what I mean? But like, what time do I usually start the live? I'm in Eastern Standard Time. I think that like 6 to. Honestly, I usually start between 8 and 10 p.m. EST. Here, I'll just type that out for you. That's usually when I start. Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. Okay. As long as the police have guns, the Marxists should too. Yes, I agree that we should have guns. I think that we should have guns. I'm not anti Second Amendment or whatever. I just think that gun control is important because if someone is a fucking lunatic, there should be like actual good, like there should be like stopgap measures to stop like psychotic abusive lunatics from having guns. The funny upshot is the NRA standing up for our Second Amendment rights. Well, yeah, but the NRA, like, they make money off of us buying guns too. You know what I mean? Check your super YouTube settings for super chats. I'll have to do that, I guess. Uh oh, geez, where the hell? The gun control is a terrible idea. Who dictates who get guns? Gay asparagus. I feel like that's like not. Look, gun control is important, and like I'm not saying gun control as in like there's a random person sitting there being like, you don't get a gun. Like, look, we should have licensure for guns. We should have like basic regulation for guns. Like, I don't think you should just be able to go to the fucking gun mart and buy a shotgun and plus, Leah, it would be good to give good lessons for leftists of what they should to improve themselves, even though it's coming from me, the communists. Look, Butterbean, I'm open to having these conversations in chat, but like I'm just really hesitant to like open up a like I don't know. It's also important to consider that left and right are artificial camps that divide people, like national identity is not in a moderate. Both sides are very, very valid way, but recognizing nuance in most people. Yes, I would agree with that. That like most people don't even like cleanly fit into conservative or liberal or whatever. A lot of like unless you're politically informed. If you're politically informed, you probably fit better into a specific camp. But like people that are politically uninformed just have like a random hodgepodge of beliefs. Like they'll be like they voted for Trump 3 times, but they think universal health care is a good idea, kind of thing. To be honest with you, I voted for Donald Trump to help get rid of bad stuff, but I didn't know he was in the Epstein file, so I'm disappointed in him if he's still selfish. Overcoming, I think that's unfortunate that you voted for Donald Trump because that is like if you're a part of the queer community or trans community or whatever, uh that is you picked wrong. You picked the wrong vote. I disagree. The both sides thing ignores what the left, while being self-destructive, stands for improving the lives of everyone, and the right does not. What? The both sides thing. Citron was literally saying it's not that. Citron was saying it's important to consider that left and right are artificial camps that divide people, like national identities, which is true. There's a lot of people who don't fit cleanly into these like left and right camps, but we force it. And they're not saying that in a both sides kind of way. It's just it's I don't know. That's whatever. Uh You've got me playing Project Zomboid again. Love dying because my shoes and socks are the same color and I've been walking on fucked up feet. Yo, that happened to me. That happened to me. Did that happen to you too? Oh, that's funny. Firearms are important for self-defense. I would agree with that. Leah, that's fine. I understand if you can't, plus I'm a stranger, so I can't. But yeah, it's hard for me to like let people on my platform like voice, or whatever. Like I think that's kind of risky because like I don't know what you're gonna say. You know what I mean? Like you will never get rid of firearms, and that doesn't get rid of the cause of violence. Dude, I did gay asparagus. I never said to get rid of firearms. I never said to confiscate firearms. I never said to ban people from firearms. I never said any of that fucking shit. And you are like, I said gun control is a good idea, and you just started shoving words down my throat as if I had said them. Okay? And like I don't understand what the fuck. Like, can you not recognize that? Oh, Jesus Christ. I meant saying both sides are valid isn't okay to avoid conflict. I mean, in regards to community organization, we can still find some common ground with some of the conservative right folks sometimes. EST, not EDT? My jurisdiction just went daylight savings time year round. Wait, what? I'm sorry, I'm confused. EST, Eastern Standard Time? I'm in Ohio, so EST, we use Eastern Standard Time, right? Like libertarians and mutual aid groups, for example. Yeah, I think that's a good example. Have you bought a firearm? I'm not going to talk about whether I have a firearm or not. Um, or working with trans-friendly churches that still espouse conservative lifestyles. Yeah. Yeah, like I think that there's room for that kind of stuff. Guns should be like cars, they're both deadly weapons, and you should have to wait in line a really long time to prove you're worth it. Yes, thank you. Plus, I'm new, Leah, so I rather gain your trust as a viewer since I'm still a new follower to your channel. Yeah, I appreciate that, Butterbean. Guns are also a big liability. If you own one, your risk of suicide goes up double digits. Not anti-gun myself, but people should consider that. Yes, I think people tend to believe that guns are just also if you own a gun, you do not want to have to use that fucking thing, right? Like that is literally like the last resort of all last resorts. Because if you shoot someone, like you are going to pay for that legally. Like it doesn't like there's almost no situation where there's uh no downs, like you know what I mean? Like you're not just going to get away with it. Also, you're legally liable for a ton of different things. Yes, exactly. Thank you, Ray, for another $2. $2 Canadian. Thank you for that. I hope LGBT people are together. This is ecstasy. Well, I think a lot of us are coming together because things are so hard right now in the country. Like in America and around the world, things are so hard for trans people in general that it's like it's important for. Oh, did you all hear my alarm go off? You probably all heard my phone alarm go off. I have to go do my injection. Like I honestly should have stopped stream a while, like 20 minutes ago, so I could go do my injection, but I just want to wrap up the conversation. Also, nice Suzuya, thank you so much for the follow here on Twitch. Thank you for that. I know you do injections is all. Oh, thanks. Yeah, I know. I talk about it all the time on my Monday streams. I pretty much always have to inject right after my Monday stream, which is kind of funny. Um, didn't mean to rile you up. Have a good night. No, I just got riled up because it felt like you were like I said gun control is a good thing, and then all of a sudden it felt like you were saying that like I'm somehow like some huge piece of shit or like saying all of these things about banning people from guns. And like I don't know, it just felt like it was, I don't know. It felt like the conversation was going in a direction that I never said anything about it. Whatever. You randomly found my channel. Oh, well, that's good, Ray. I'm happy you found my channel. It's good to have you here. I think the Dems shoot themselves in the foot by tying themselves to anti-gun thing. There are people who are one-issue voters around Second Amendment, and that would otherwise not be a right-winger. I don't think being anti-gun is a good thing. I think that being a like advocating for responsible gun ownership and responsible gun ownership laws is a good thing. Like I'm not anti-gun. I'm not anti-gun. I don't think that we should ban guns. I think that we should have more regulation, and like, people should have to jump through a few more hoops to get them. But Dadzilla, thank you so much for the $5. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I really appreciate that. ERFP zeros are a good gun control policy. It means extreme risk firearm protection order. Basically, cops show and take the gun temporarily from a person who's been reported as unstable. Yeah, yeah, I've heard about that. Usually when that person is gone, so it avoids conflict, but still, I'm down for more regulations, to be honest. Yes, yeah, I get you. Gun control is important. The Dems need to support it. Biden was actually successful in the 90s with a ban, if I remember correctly, but I forget. Yeah. There was like an assault weapons ban that Biden pushed forward that I think got revoked or something. But then Biden did pass some kind of gun control legislation. I can't remember exactly what it was. It was very, very small. Like I think like the gun control legislation that got passed under Biden was something about like bump stocks or uh something about like guns that were assembled through like 3D printing or something like that. I can't remember exactly, but it was like very limited stuff. But yeah, I think gun control is like common sense gun control, gun regulations. Like I think a lot of pro Second Amendment people are also for common sense gun laws. You know what I mean? Because like if you know enough about guns, like if you're educated and trained with firearms, then you recognize how fucking dangerous they are, right? Like they are an extreme liability and extremely dangerous. And so like you want people to be educated on how to properly use them and on like you want people to have to like sort of like pass the sniff test so they're not going to go out and just start pointing that thing at a bunch of people. I'm in a small town near Toronto. I don't know if you've heard of this city. I've heard of Toronto before. Guns are good and all, but Americans need to realize there are other solutions to all of their problems. Well, yes. Yes. And like look, do you want me to be real? If you want me to be really honest with all of you, I think gun control is like is kind of a distraction. Like I think the gun conversation in general is kind of a distraction. Like, do you need guns to protect you from a tyrannical government? I guess, but is that going to fucking work? No, because like look, you might have a pistol, but the government has fucking drones and tanks. Like you are not going to defend yourself against a militia. And then like even the cops have like military grade gear. Like you're not going to do shit. Like you're not going to do shit. Like your little pistol, your little handgun is not going to do shit to protect you from that. Like you're just going to die. And then at the same time, like, like, okay, if you want to use that gun to protect you from unsafe situations, sure, you can use it as a deterrent. Like, you can show someone that you're armed and like in an attempt to deter them from mugging you or whatever the fuck, right? But if they actually come at you, you kind of can't even use your gun, because if you, like we talked about earlier a little bit, if you use that gun, there's going to be an insane amount of legal liability that's going to fall back on you that you don't want to fall back on you. And it's like, honestly, probably going to hurt you more than help you. And so yes, having guns is probably a good right to have, and gun control is important or whatever. But like, is any of that of a material difference to what's going on in America? Is gun control or gun control would actually make a difference in America because of all of the school shootings that are happening. So like, cutting down on unstable people or kids being able to get access to their parents' guns because the parents just have them in a fucking drawer or whatever. Like, that's important, right? But I think that um, I think that like the whole concept of like guns politically is a little bit of a distraction. Camel Tony, thank you for the sweet message. That's really sweet. Sweet. I don't even know what the heck. Wait, Leah, before you leave, debate me about Platt Graham Ner for uh for 45 minutes. That's very funny. That's very funny. I've been really pissed off about the Graham Plattner. Yes, he's a piece of shit, and maybe some people should have seen it coming. I mean, I was a little suspicious of him, but he ran a good platform. Like, I queet, yes, queet. But like, I'm really frustrated with how people are using Graham Plattner as like this, like, oh, like the left sucks and you don't know how to pick candidates, and look, this guy was a piece of shit. All of you must be pieces of shit. It's all really frustrating. Like, watching the CNN discussion of Graham Plattner makes me want to like rip my fucking eyes out of my skull or whatever. Those guys from the Middle East beat the USA with guns from World War II and sticks and stones. Yeah. Yeah. Also, Ray, thank you for the bits on Twitch there. Thank you for that. That's really nice. My body is so riddled with estrogen. If there were an actual violent escalation, I would be dead anyway, so I don't even bother owning a gun. Well, you know, I get you there. I mean, I think self-defense is important. I think there are plenty of other methods of self-defense that are way more effective than guns. Like, I think guns are an option for some people, as a deterrent, like I mentioned, not to actually use. But I do think that like having other methods of self-defense at your disposal, or at your in your little whatever is in your toolkit, is really important. Like, I think it's important for people to understand that it's more about getting out of the situation than hurting the other person. Like, yes, you may have to incapacitate the person momentarily so that you can get out, but the primary goal of self-defense is to get out of a dangerous situation, not to like hurt the person or whatever. Uh, I just wanted to say I really like your live. Never watched a live for so long. Oh, Ray, thank you so much again for the 5 bits and for being so positive and nice. That's really nice of you. I hope to see you back on my next stream. I hope to see you back. That you've been a wonderful contributor. Butterbean's leaving. Have a good night, Butterbean. Um, in my opinion, politicians that are too gleeful about their time as a mercenary or military should be an immediate red flag for leftists. Yes, and I will say that was a red flag for me. But Plattner was running on this, like, Plattner was the way Plattner talked about his service. He talked about it in this way where he sounded a little bit regretful about the things that he had done or whatever. Like, he talked about like the reality of war and the whatever. So like, I don't know. Like, was it a red flag for me? Yes. But like, he was running a good platform and he was kind of doing like the redeemed chud kind of narrative. And like, I don't know. I just like, I needed, like, until I got the information that we got, I was not going to I wasn't gonna murder his plan. Like, look, he had a popular campaign in Maine. The voters wanted him. And so like, until really damning evidence came out, I wasn't gonna damn him, I guess, is where I'm at with that. But it obviously happened, and I was very quick as soon as the news came out, I was very quick to say, yeah, this is the end of his campaign. This guy needs to drop out. Like he fucked up badly. And obviously the narrative that he was running on was a lie. And we, maybe we fell for it, but like that's just gonna happen. At the very least, at least the left is willing to drop someone like that. You know what I mean? Like when people realized that Trump was like the number one Epstein guy, like did they drop him? No. They just threw their support behind him even more. So like, I think that's important to recognize that it says something good about the left that we're willing to like, actually hold people to account for the things that they've done in their lives. I carry pepper spray because I occasional harassment from local hillbillies. Hope I never have to use it. Yeah, I carry mace with me, like I carry something just in case. And you don't want to have to use it, but yeah. In other countries, there's duty to retreat. You have to try to get away. You can only use a deadly force with your back against the wall. Yes, exactly. And that's like a golden rule with self-defense. Like you should try to get out of the situation more than you should try to harm the other person. Like anything you do is just yeah, well anyway. I'm a Chud was definitely a song made for Platner. In this country, there's a prominent murder fantasy about defending yourself against a burglar or something. Yes, that is very common in the United States about like this fetishization of guns where like, oh, if someone comes into my house, I'll shoot them dead. Well, in a lot of states, you can't even shoot someone in your own house without getting charged with a crime for that. So like, like really you're not going to do that and you're not going to want to do that. But anyway, hey, I appreciate all of you so very much. If you could all hit the like button on the stream, that would be immensely helpful and wonderful. And wow, look at us. We got 11 viewers on Twitch. That's actually really good. I'm kind of surprised by that. Thank you for the likes on YouTube. I really appreciate that. I've got my link tree pinned in both chats there. So if you want to check out my other social medias, like I do fire performance and flow art stuff on my Instagram, you can check that out. I'm a movement artist, very passionate about it. I will be back on Olay Politics does have a good retrospect video on it. Also, sorry, I was just joking about a debate. Wait, what about a debate? I don't know. Oh, yes, I know you were joking about it. It actually is funny because I knew you were joking about that, but I like freaking I still jumped into it anyway. I still jumped into it anyway. I took the bait and I ran with it. Um but yes, I appreciate all of you so very much. I do need to wrap up here because I have to go do my injection. Like I'm actually late on it now, which doesn't really matter. Like an hour is not gonna like change the world or whatever. But immaterial Soph. Oh no, I just joined. Oh, that makes me so sad. I always hate it when I'm about to end stream and I see people join and it's like you just joined. You can watch the VOD if you want, or you can watch some other stuff on my channel or some of the other streams on my channel. Like as soon as I end the live stream, there'll be a VOD that pops up. And yes. I love and appreciate you all, but I do have to go do my injection. If I stay on for too much longer, I'm gonna regret it. So unfortunately, I do have like a hard line that I have to do. I have to wait 4 more months to start E. Oh, I'm sorry, but I bet you're looking forward to it, and I'm excited for you, and I hope that you get that. I think Riverboat Jack is streaming if you want to raid. Let me see. Let me see here. Like on Twitch and YouTube and stuff, or uh hold on. Yes, yeah, Riverboat Jack is live. So let me. Oh, what the fuck? Wait, why are there two different streams? Oh, there's like a vertical stream and there's like a non-vertical stream. That's so weird. All right, well, here, I'm gonna pop Riverboat Jack's link in the chat here. If you see this YouTube link pop in here, feel free to click that and go over to Riverboat Jack and then just let her know that you came from my stream, okay? So if you decide to go watch Riverboat Jack for a while, just like type in her chat that you came from Leah's stream. Um that would be super super cool. I would appreciate that. Also we can on Twitch we can do a little raid. Let me find her. River Boat Jack. Okay, and then we're gonna raid on Twitch. Let me turn on my headphones so I can hear what's going on here. But yeah, feel free to go raid. Use a subscriber only mode. Oh, okay. Well, whatever. We're gonna start the raid here on Twitch. Okay, we're gonna raid. Okay, I'm gonna get out of here. Thank you all for the stream. I appreciate all of you. Love all of you. And yeah, we will. I'll see you all later or whatever. Bye. Wednesday. I'll be back Wednesday. Come hang out on